Yo, what's good? Welcome to another episode of the Checkdown. I'm your host, Smitty. I'm here with the crew, man. What's good, Dre? What's good?
It was good, man. I'm happy to be back with the people, man. Blessed to be here another Saturday. I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah, man, a couple interesting topics to get into today. But first, Pop, how you feeling?
I'm chilling, chilling. Glad to be back with the people.
So obviously, man, the off season is in full effect. A lot of things going right. First topic, man, we got to get into is obviously the possibility of the ref holdout. It's they've been in a contentious battle for negotiations going forward. They're trying to figure it out. So if people don't know what's going on, they can kind of see a brief graphic of what's actually happening, what the refs want, what the NFL wants, so people can see. Well, how y'all feel about what's going on and the potential of 2012?
Yeah, I mean, fail Mary, man. um, I think we're all old enough to remember fail Mary. Some of the younger people might not remember it. Um, that was the last instance we saw of this happening, but it wasn't interesting enough the last time there was actually a strike with the referees. The last referee strike was actually in 2001. Um, it only lasted a week. And both situations, it took one egregious call to basically bring back the referees. So if we do have to enter the season with some replacement referees, I don't think it'll be for long. I don't think it'll be at the most maybe a quarter of the season, and even that, I don't know if I don't know if that'll work because I mean we'll get into it, but the NFLPA also came out and had some comments about this whole referee situation and why it could be a problem. So it's definitely something to monitor and hopefully something that is resolved soon.
Yeah, I don't want to see another 2012. I don't want to see that. I don't think anybody wants to see that, especially with replacement refs coming into the season. I will say this though. I do understand some of the points that the league is trying to make and implementing performance-based incentives and stuff like that, and also additional season training for the new referees that's joining the association. It's some things I think that's beneficial to the game, and other things I think like the refs kind of want. And I don't know if they're going to be able to come to a middle ground by the May 31st deadline. I have to get this done in. I do think
Well,
it's kind of hard because as we watch the NFL, there's games that's aired the same day, same play, different calls. I think that's been a big issue, at least for me, the last 2 years, is the inconsistency in some of the flags that are being called.
yeah, I mean the inconsistency is definitely an issue, but some of the stuff that the NFL is asking for, like full time referees, they've had the opportunity to do for a very long time, and they just haven't done yet. So some of it is just on the NFL for not getting some of these things done, and some of them are just no brainers. Honestly, um, every time that there's a holdout, pay basically doubles for the referees, and we get back to having the normal referees. Like, I don't know why the NFL wants to keep going through this process. Because literally, the last two times that's how it went. Oh, bad call. Okay, yes, we agree. You should get more money. They gave him more money, and that's not the only thing they're asking for. But they gave him more money, and then they came back and started refing again. So the NFL, I don't know why they're trying to play. hardball here when they know that they'll just fold in the end, honestly, anyway.
I think it's a interesting situation because the NFL obviously, yes, they could have made referees full time, but their argument in this is they don't believe every referee deserves to be full time. They only want to give full time to the upper echelon of referees. So the referee association is saying, hey, if you're gonna give some of us, you might as well give all of us. Um, but the NFL is saying, okay, well, we're willing to give all of you full time, but we're going to extend the probationary period of which you become a union member. So they're saying, hey, we'll give you full time, but you got to be with the NFL for 5 years first. Or I think it's 6 years. Let me see. What's the probationary period the NFL want? Is it 6 years? Oh, 6 years.
I
Yeah.
don't have okay. See, that aspect of it I hadn't even looked into, but it is. I think it's a control thing. If you look at it, what the NFL is asking for is they're asking for performance pay, postseason assignment rules, off-season access, and full-time structure. That's more control on the NFL side. Some of it does benefit the referees, but some of it they might not also want to go through. Like, I mean, do you think it's going to be possible that we at some point get referees in on the podium after a game to explain the terrible call that they just made in the game? Like,
Nah, you never
does
gonna.
it go to that point, or like more access to the referees? I mean, why do they want more access?
I mean, put it like this: like in no other sport where you see refs, well, at least in at least in America, USA, right? I'm not gonna speak to soccer and all that, but like the referees don't are not holding press conferences post game. I don't think you're ever gonna get that. Um, I mean, I can see like both sides of the argument. Like I can see how the NFL want like it's like going to work and they put you on a probationary period until they make you permanent, give you benefits or whatever. So I can see that aspect of it that they want you to be a referee for a certain amount of time before they give you these benefits. I think 6 years is a little bit too long. I think they could cut that in half. I mean, something like 2 or 3 years. Like I could see that. Because I mean, once you're, I mean, the thing about NFL referees, like once you referee for a couple years, it seems like those guys don't really go anywhere, and then obviously it's not their full time job, so it's like I mean, you don't get much movement, unless they've been there for a certain amount of time. Like they normally just ref until they retire or whatever. So I can see both sides of it. I mean, I don't think a deal gonna get done by the deadline. Like, I mean, like the NFL just they're more of a reactionary business, right? So, I mean, I can see a deal getting done right before the season starts. I mean, something like that. If it doesn't, then it's going to be like 2012 when like it was. I think it was what the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. And then there's always a breaking point which made the league come back to the table. Just like we can't do this anymore. So I just think that's what we're headed for. I think that's what the league is prepared for. It's preparing for because also they made rule changes that if they do have replacement referees, that like I guess that the central control in New York can like override a call in case the call is wrong, and like they only made that rule for the replacement referee. Like that's I mean, like that was the like the underlying part of the rule is that it would only be for that situation. So I think they put in protocols to prepare for that, and I think they're prepared to not give them the deal that they want, and they're gonna kind of, like I think you're gonna get replacement refs. I just think that's the way it's gonna go.
Okay, so the probationary period, the NFL wants to increase it from 3 years to 5 years under the new CBA negotiations with the refs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with the 3 years. I mean, I don't think they need to
Yeah.
change that. Like I don't. I just
No,
think
no,
that
no.
the
They want to extend it because they're saying giving you full time after 3 years, you still might not be you still not might not be a fully developed ref. We want to extend it to 5 years before you become a union member, and then we're willing to
Hmm.
pay your benefits. We're willing to give you the full time pay, but we need 5 years of basically 5 years of seeing you grow and then become consistent.
yeah, I think they can stick with the 3 years. I think
But
I mean, they've had that in the past. Like, they should be able to make a determination in 3 years whether you're a good ref or not, and I mean whether they want you to be in the union or not. That's just my opinion, though.
You would think. I mean, my read on the situation is the NFL is trying to avoid another 2020 style situation where you have the embarrassment that you have from calls like the Fail Mary. So they're trying to put basically a fail safe in place right now, like you alluded to, J Mick, that goes back to adding New York into it for egregious calls to be overturned and things of that nature. But the concerning part about it is, like, I hope the NFL is just bluffing at this point. Like, I hope they don't really plan on going into the season with replacement referees, because in 2012 there wasn't sports gambling the way it is nowadays. You're going to get these replacement referees. How are you vetting all of these referees? And then the NFLPA president came out recently and said, this is bigger than just a competition issue. This becomes a safety issue too, because when you don't have good referees out there, it threatens the safety of the athletes that are actually playing the game. Because that's what the job of the referee is, right? To make sure that the game goes fairly and everybody plays by the rules. So it's bigger than just like if the referees want more money or they don't want more years and the NFL wants that. Like it goes into gambling and it goes into player safety on top of all of the other things that we've already alluded to. And I think the situation is a lot more serious than the NFL is leading on, and I think they're hoping that they can resolve this issue before the start of the season. I don't think they really want to go into it with replacement refs.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. I don't think they want to, but I also think they're trying to bully the ref association into conceding to what they're putting on the table. And I do think, like, I agree with what Jay Mick said. I don't think they need to extend it to 5 years. Keep it to three. Just do better evaluation. Like, there are already safety nets that you had available to you under the old CVA that you had with the referee association, and you did not take advantage of them. You didn't. Like, there was a lot of things they could have done, and they just never decided to take advantage. And now, to me, it's seems like an overcorrection with some of the things that they're asking for, and I just don't think that's necessarily beneficial to the refs.
I I think the problem is, right. I agree with y'all. Like it should stay 3 years, but the NFL is saying, well, we've had it at 3 years for a while, and the refereeing hasn't gotten better. We haven't seen development, and now we're paying guys that we really don't want refing our games. We really don't want them there, but we have allowed you to become part of the union in this 3 year bid, and you guys aren't what we expect you to be after 3 years, and we can't fire you. We can't let you go. So if you want to be put through training, you want to go through these seminars, you want to get all this extra stuff, okay, we're willing to invest in that, but we also don't want to pay you in 3 years because the 3 years hasn't worked up until now. We've all seen bad refereeing now, and the 3 year has been in place since the last CBA got agreed upon. We've seen bad refereeing, and these guys are now asking for. I'm gonna ask y'all this to be honest. Like I agree with half and half. I believe it should be a part of NFL should be willing to commit. But the referees are asking to be making $500,000 by 2030.
And I assume that's for the
Would
what
y'all be okay with the refereeing up until
is that
now
per game or is
for
that for
to
the whole
pay them
season?
$500,000?
For the
I think
season,
that's just gonna be the regular season, not including playoffs.
I mean, but
okay, cool. I mean, but how much are the players making?
players making much more than that.
If the players can
Well,
make
500,000
50,
will be
60,
for like
70 million, if the NFL thinks that player safety is as important as they lead us to believe, then there's no reason why they shouldn't be willing to pay professionals $500,000 a year to referee their league.
And then the other thing
Why?
about it is like what I find kind of funny is you want them to work 6 years, you complain about their performance, but you're not. The only thing is like the training, for what I've understood, is like the training programs aren't really there. So how are you really expecting these guys to get better? What I mean, just through the experience of refereeing games, 17 games every year? It's just like, yeah, I mean, like for people to get better, like you have to, like you have to increase the training for all these referees. Like I don't like that's the only way that you can get better. I mean, it's either that or you just make the rules more clear cut. Because I mean, if you ever looked at the rule book, man, I mean, like there's a million and one rules. Like, I mean, there's some gray areas to some rules and such. And I mean, like some years they want them to emphasize certain rules and de-emphasize other rules and all, like that sort of stuff. So I don't know.
I, I just don't understand what the players got to do with it. Like, are we going to start paying the chain gang 500,000 too? Are we going to start paying the announcer 500,000 too? Because the players are making millions of dollars. I don't that I don't see the correlation in that. The players are 1 percentile of athletes on the planet. Anybody can be a referee.
I
So
What?
I don't know if I
can
can
I give
agree
you
that
the
anybody can
actual
be a
quote?
referee.
Can I give you the actual quote from the NFLPA president? Because that's why I brought the players into it. This stopped being only a league versus referee thing once the NFLPA jumped in publicly. JC Trader said player safety requires trained professional officials on the field and argued that less experienced crews and remote help cannot replace them. So the president of the NFLPA disagrees with your take.
Of course he does. But I
The
mean, why wouldn't he
NFLPA
disagree?
for the players, but that's for the players.
Okay.
I mean, but
So
the
an active
referees,
NFL player who runs the NFLPA is telling you that it's an issue if you don't have professional referees out there for player
Yeah.
safety. So that's how it
Okay.
ties into the player safety.
But did he talk about salary? Because that's what I
He
was
was
talking about.
talking he was talking about the holdout. When I said if everybody else is making more money in 2012, the referees were making about 200,000. I had to look at my
About
notes.
about 235.
About 235. Okay, so around that time, the highest paid quarterback in the league was probably making what, 25 million?
Okay.
The highest quarterback paid quarterback in the league is making what now?
I think it's like 60, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Doc is at
So
60 per.
you
Okay.
telling me the referees who are supposed to be in an important part of your game
Uh-huh.
aren't worth 500,000
Why
to be
would they
full
be?
time employees of the league? Because they're
Well,
full time employees at this point too. Like this is what we got to add.
okay.
They
So
don't have another job. This is their job.
so do people buy tickets to see the referees? Do they buy referee jerseys? Are referees being asked to come on podcasts and TV shows? Uh, do referees get sponsorships from Nike and Adidas? Like these quarterbacks are moving the needle financially. The referees are not doing that. So we're going to pay them $500 million just because they want 500 million.
$500 million.
Let's play the chain game $300,000 just to move the chains. Let's do that. How about the hot dog man? Let's pay him 252. He's feeding people. He's keeping people alive while we're watching the games. Like, come on, man. These dude is making $200,000 a year to work once a week.
But at this point, they would be full time employees. So that means they would be year round employees of the NFL.
Yeah, and
Correct?
I think that
Okay.
compensation needs to be increased.
So
If
so what
I
are they
if
gonna be doing for a year round? What are they gonna be doing?
I mean, they're going to be training. That's what they're going to be
They're
doing.
They
So
going to be
they
doing the
job
training and all
referees.
the other, like all the
they gonna be
workshops and
training
all
for
that stuff that
they
they
gonna be
need to
training for
do.
4 months, and then
Well, that's one of the
so
things that the NFL
so
wants. They want more access
they're
to the
gonna be
referees in
working
the
for 12
offseason.
months a year.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
so
full
they
time
so
term.
for
Yeah,
the for like the open practices and things of that nature, the NFL does want them to show up and perform if they want to be full time employees. They want them at like the open practices for the live scrimmages. They want the referees that will be refereeing games to come and be a part of those practices if they want to be full time employees. They are see the referee association. I think still wants a small gray area to give the referees a break, and the NFL is like, well, if you're a full time employee, we want you to be working for us at all times.
Yeah,
which
If we're gonna
which
pay
I
your
don't have an
salary, if
issue
we're gonna
with.
give you $500,000,
Yeah, but my thing is, I don't have an issue if you're going to
if we're
make
gonna
them
give you
full
the
time
salary, then we want
employees
you
and give them full time benefits and do all the
right.
full time stuff. I have no problem with NFL wanting them to be available 12 months out the year, be available in the off season to go to these like joint practices and these like live scrimmages and be there to kind of referee those because it not only helps the refs, it helps the teams in terms of they're trying to get ready for the season. So I mean, I'm sure if they got a lineman that's like doing something incorrectly, then like the referees at these open practices is I mean, like they're only like it's a win-win. It's helping the refs and it's also helping the teams. So I have no issue with that.
I
So
partially disagree. I think there should still be a blackout period for the refs because there is a dead period within the NFL where what are they needed for at this period of time? So do think a blackout period for the refs should happen, but I do agree if I'm gonna make you full time, yes, I want to have just a earlier period in which I can contact you for if we could get these trainings in for. I want to be able to do that, but at the same time, I just think if they don't have the ability to do their other job when they are not working for the NFL, their salary has to be able to compensate that loss of income for them. But I don't mind them getting a pay raise.
To be clear, the union side feels when you compare the salaries of referees in the NFL to all the other major sports, they feel like they're being undercompensated. They're not getting the same benefits as these other referees from these other sporting leagues get. And I mean, if that's the case, wouldn't you be fighting for the same thing though? Wouldn't you just be fighting for, I mean, for the same benefit you see other people in your field getting?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I don't see anything wrong with what the refs are asking for. I just, I'm gonna just say this. I feel like a lot of what's been coming out for the NFL side has clearly been agenda pushing. Like they're trying to force their demands on the in these negotiations and force the refs to just settle for what they want to give. And so I just believe this May 31st deadline is gonna come and no agreement will be had.
yeah, but the
I,
thing about the league is that's what the league does, even with the players. Like when it comes to CBA time for them, like they try to hardline the players union into what they want. And a lot of the times, like they're like the owners are winning in those like CBA discussions with the players. So it doesn't surprise me that they're trying to do the same thing with the referees. Let's just face facts. Like the NFL, like if they can get by without paying, paying a premium for something, that's what they're going to do. Like they've shown that in many different areas. So I honestly wouldn't expect them to do anything less, personally.
Well, my big
I think
problem.
the one part that kind of upsets me a little bit is the first negotiations that they had. The NFL sent guys to the negotiation with no power to negotiate. I think that's what sparked feel of disrespect from the NFL Referee Association.
And that's a good point.
I get that. I think what Pop said though about them trying to kind of strong arm the referees, I think it's true, but I think that's why it's so big that the NFLPA did come out and say that they feel that the referees are an integral part of the actual safety structure within the NFL. Because if they view them that way and not just an accessory to the game, like some people view them, then they have more of a leg to stand on when it comes to the negotiations and they don't have to fold as easily, I feel.
Yeah, but do you think the owners really care what the players are talking about, though? Because I don't think they do.
If the players say, if they say there's a safety issue and we're not going to go out there, I don't know if it would escalate to that level, but when the NFLPA president is saying that this is a safety concern and it's an issue for the players, if they went in to say, "Hey, we're not going to go out there until this referee thing is figured out," what do you do as the NFL?
I mean, let
How
me
is
put it to you like this: like,
how
if
is
they
it a
wouldn't strike,
safety issue?
let me just say this real quick: like, if they wouldn't strike on their own behalf, what makes you think they're going to strike on the behalf of the referees? Like, I don't see that happening at all.
That's what I was about to say right there, because they didn't even strike for themselves. I don't think they're gonna be willing to strike for the referees. I don't think they're willing to lose that bread, bro. I don't. I don't think they're willing to forfeit that money and you for per game and all that for referees. I think if they could, because the referees that they're bringing in, the replacement referees, they will be doing exactly what the NFL wants from the current referees, with being in camps, being at these live scrimmages and live practices, right alongside the teams, getting some hands-on work before the season. So the players are gonna see what they have to work with. You know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know how that's gonna work, if it's gonna be good or bad. I don't want to see 2012 again. That was a nasty situation, right? But I think, like, at the end of the day, like, both of them have to kind of commit to some type of sacrifice. The NFL might have to give up the salary. The NFL referees might have to give up a small amount of that gray period that they want. You know what I mean? The NFL might have to commit more to the training, but they might have to meet in the middle on the probationary period, where it's 4 years, or you know what I mean, an extra year, so we can really evaluate. But I think it's gonna have to be a joint situation. Nobody is going to get what they want if they expect the other one to completely pull. It's gonna be one of those situations where it's gonna have to be some type of sacrifice on both ends.
I just don't like they keep talking about safety issue. I'm lost on that. Like, what is what how is a regular referee going to keep players safe? Like, is he like a fortune teller or something? I mean, because a hip drop tackles, a chop block is going. I don't like. How do they prevent? What does safety have to do with it? I don't understand that.
Well, maybe you should ask JC Trader, because that was his statement. And I'm just saying, if the NFLPA is backing the NFL Referee Association, it's good for them and it gives them a leg to stand on. That's all I'm saying.
Uh, well, I don't know him, and if you got his email, I'll probably hit him up. But I don't understand. I don't see the correlation between safety and referees. They officiate the game. They call infractions. They don't keep people safe. Uh, act, Injuries happen. I don't see what a referee can do to stop an injury. So I'm on the NFL side this time. The referees don't want to be held liable. They don't want to be disciplined. They don't want to be held. Um, uh, they want to stay in a seniority based system where the longer that you've been there, you, you go first, you get first dibs on playoff games. The NFL wants to take that away and put it performance based. It's going to be week by week, okay? And if you are up to standard, we're going to get rid of you and get somebody else in here to do your job. They don't want that. Why not? You're getting paid 230 something $1,000 a year, and you don't want somebody to base your job on your performance just off the strength that you've been here for 8 years. You should.
That's not the argument though. I don't know if he's still talking. I might. Is he still talking? Am I
Uh,
having issues?
I'm not
nah,
sure because his
yeah, he was kind
connection
of
keep
cutting
going
in and
in and
out. I'm
out,
not
so
sure.
I don't know.
Okay. So for me, I feel like the NFL Referee Association's biggest issue isn't the control that the NFL wants. I think their issue is, okay, because they don't want to make everybody full time employees, but the people you make full time employees, like, you got to pay them as such too. Then they don't mind at least in my opinion, I don't. From my understanding, they don't necessarily mind the fact that um there will be a little more accountability if they're being compensated like others in their field. But other professional referees are making a lot more money than the NFL referees, and that's their issue, their
My only,
biggest issue, at least.
my only thing was I thought it was already merit based because I thought it was based on their performance. That's who gets the playoff games. That's who gets the Super Bowls. That's who gets the primetime
No, it's
games.
like it's almost random.
No,
Yeah,
It's
it's
not.
it's
based
It's like
off of
random, but
seniority.
seniority comes first. Seniority comes first, and then the rest of it is picked randomly.
Yeah, but
yeah,
the
and
way
I
they
think
positioned it for the Super Bowl is like those are the best refs of the year. That's how they positioned it to me, at least.
they
I
might
mean, they
have
can.
did that this. I don't know
So
if they
that's
do
that's
that every year, but a lot of times it's seniority based. And now what I'm seeing is it's performance evaluation, like who is performing the best. And I don't think that's necessarily in contention for the referees.
We got a question from the audience. So Miles asked, he said, "Ask certified if he ever worked off commission."
yes, I have. I do it right now. What's his next question?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was just one question.
Well, ask him.
Well, I mean, he can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he
I mean,
You
you the
think I'm on
message
the phone
relayer.
with him? We in the, like we're in the screen
You
here.
you
I'm
the you
just
the
saying I'm
message
reading the
relayer. So I'm asking
messages.
you to relay the message.
well, no, I mean, he's in the stream, so he can hear what you
I
said.
know, Mick. I'm joking with Jack, but I was in a bad area. But that is what they're saying. They don't want to be held accountable for their decisions. They want to stand on the fact that they've been employed by the union a certain amount of years, and the NFL wants to get rid of that. And
I mean,
what's the problem with that?
but do you think it's them not being one to hold like? Because to me, I don't think it's all of them because I don't like because the thing is like, for example, like when there's a bad call and then the coach at the end of the game he criticizes the refs, they're
Okay,
gonna find the coach because they don't want you criticizing the referee because it's part of the game. So
okay.
I don't know if I can agree that it's just like they don't want to be held accountable. I think it's a 1A 1B thing. I think the league don't want you criticizing the referees that they're paying to to referee the game. Like that's where I've always looked at. Like I've never looked at like they don't want to be criticized or they don't want to be held accountable.
Well,
So the NFL
they're
Refereeing
rejecting
Association
it.
is
So no,
saying
they don't want to be
we
held
are
accountable.
willing to be yeah, we are willing to be held accountable, but we need per se things to happen for you to hold us accountable.
Yeah, and I
So
think
that
that's fair.
like the little workshop, all that stuff. They want all that stuff to happen first before you say, "Hey, now
And I
we
mean,
need
just
you
to
to
answer the
be on this
comment, like the comment,
performance based pay rate." Really?
yeah, yeah. So the comment in the comments it says from G Fish like NFL refs don't ref 82 games or 162 games. Those refs get paid more. I think what we're talking about is on a per game basis. That's what we're talking about because like Major League Baseball games are typically 2.5 to 3 hours. Basketball games are around 3 hours. NFL games typically around three. Like so, they're refing for the same amount of time. So I think what we're talking about is refing per game, not just the total amount that I mean, like these refs are going to make.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about at least.
Yeah. And so I mean, like if I mean, like if I'm an NFL ref and I see a NBA ref making a certain amount per game, or like a baseball ref making a certain amount per game, I mean, that's just going to be your argument because like those are your comps, like those are your contemporaries, I guess you could say. And so you're going to be like, well, I mean, I'm not saying I got to get paid the exact same amount as an NBA ref, but it's got to be, like it's got to be somewhat similar, I would think. And I mean, like if that's how they're looking at it, I mean, I would do the same thing. So I don't really have an issue with that. I mean, my whole point of contention with
J
the
Mitt, the NFL refs roughly want about 50,000 less than the NBA ref salary. They want 500, and if NBA refs make roughly about 550.
yeah, so it's like they just want to be in the area of the other refs. Like like it's not like they don't want more. So I don't really have an issue with that. Like my only contention with the referees is like I just think they should be trained better. Now, whatever you got to do to get that done, make them full-time refs, have them training the off season so that when they actually get into these preseason and regular season and postseason games, that like the refereeing is better. Like that's all I want. Like pay them. I'm not saying pay them whatever because it's a business, so I mean like it's got to make sense. But like that's my main point. It's just like I need them to be trained better, and then I need them to make better calls on the field. That's it for me.
The
I,
NFL, the NFL or the NBA referees, they are full time employees, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So to me, real quick, just to the point that G Fish made, I don't necessarily care about the amount of games because if you want me to work for you all year, I should be making what other referees are making for working for their sport all year, their argument. And not necessarily, oh, well, I mean, we ref less games, so we should be paid less. Like, I don't think that works if you want guys to work for you full time year round. Now, that's not every referee. And in the NBA, I'm pretty sure not every referee is full time and not every referee makes that 500,000 a year. But there are referees that, if they've been there long enough, they make that figure, right? We're talking about that 6 year number, for example. Let's say a referee that's now been with the NFL going on his sixth year now does make maybe 500,000. Maybe it is early on, it's more experience based. Like once 1 to 2 years, you get a certain salary. 3 to 4 years, you get a certain salary. Year 5, you get a certain salary. And year 6, when you become locked in full time is when you make that 500,000. Then once you are a full time employee, I don't think that's the issue. But if the NFL doesn't want to pay these guys, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I just looked up the NBA's rule that they have, and it's essentially what you just said, Dre. It's a pay scale structure based upon performance and seniority and how well you do your job. So, and there's also additional incentives that are in there for said performance as well. So, I just don't see what's the issue with the refs kind of structuring in the NFL, trying to structure their pay the same style. I don't think that's necessarily a problem.
I don't have a problem with the pay style, but the amount, I, I, I just, I just feel like they worried about the wrong things. They, 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 they pocket watching. You don't do as much as NBA referees. So why are you comparing yourself to them? You don't work as many games. You don't work as many weeks. You don't work as hard during the game. You're not running back and forth like an NBA referee.
But I could also make, and not that I believe what I'm about to say, but I could also make the argument that like the NFL referees could be like, well, like the game that we're refereeing on makes more than the NBA game, like like in terms of revenue, like like the two industries are different. Obviously, the NFL makes a lot more money, so I could be like, well, y'all making more money, so y'all could pay us more.
And again, you pocket watching again. That don't
Yeah.
have nothing to do with you.
I mean,
I,
personally,
Oh, that's
I'm
actually hold on, real quick.
I
That's
mean, because
actually a
that's
part.
like me
That's
going to my
actually a part of the
CEO and telling
NFL
him,
associations.
"Go ahead."
Go ahead, sir.
That's like me going to my
That's,
CEO saying, "Oh, you making more money because the company make more money, so I get to make more money." That's not how that works.
yeah, but if my performance is good, then I'm gonna go to my manager and say, like at the end of the year, my performance has been good, so I deserve to get a pay increase. That's what I would say.
Maybe, but okay.
And then, I mean, so what I just said, I don't necessarily agree with it, but like that's when they're at the CBA, discussions. That's what they could say. Like, what I mean, like they could say, like we're refereeing the game that's the most popular sport in this country, and we're not getting paid as such. And so, I mean, like they can make that argument. I don't think it's a bad argument to make. I mean, they're probably like these are negotiations. So we all like I'm pretty sure we've all been a part of like in some shape or form like negotiation, whether it's at work, buying a car, house, or whatever. So I mean, there's give and take. Like you're not always going to get everything that you want, And so like I just think both parties got to show some sort of middle ground. And like what Smitty said earlier, I don't think the NFL started this, these discussions off on the right foot by sending, sending a party of people that had no authorization to, I mean, to negotiate. So already you're getting off on the bad foot already. And now, like, say I'm like the referees, like I'm looking at y'all like, I'm like, y'all think this is a game or something? Like this is, they weren't taking it seriously. And so I just think that kind of puts this whole situation in a very bad situation.
Did everybody get their point off, man? Did everybody feel like, what I mean? You said what you had to say to, what I mean, really stand this point because I don't want to move. It feel like this, what I mean, it's a sticky situation, bro. Because it's like we also know what the quality of the game was when we had the replacement referees the last time. So I just want to make sure everybody got off. So, I mean, if you haven't, what I mean, feel free to take the mic and go ahead. But before we
I
move
mean,
to
I'm
the
gonna
next
just say
topic.
this: like, I just hope they resolve it before the season starts, man. Like, like most of us on this panel, kind of remember 2012 and that fiasco. Um, it's April 11th. The season don't start for another 5 months, 4 months, 5 months. There's plenty of time to negotiate and get this, come to some sort of common ground that y'all could both agree to and kind of get it done. I don't want to go into the season where I don't want to see that again. That's it for me.
All right. The silence says everybody else got good. So we're gonna go into another little topic, man. Since we in draft season, obviously, draft season is definitely right around the corner. We've already kind of marched to the end of free agency. It's a few guys out there that you can sign, but we want to talk about a few teams that did and did not set themselves up for a good drive, man. A drive where you're not forced, or you are forced to draft a player. So, who want to go first, man? Who got a team they think set the stage, man, to be in a good position for this draft?
I'll start. I think the Raiders put themselves in a great position. They would have been in an even better position if somebody didn't renege on a deal, but that's a whole nother story. But they, as of right now, I mean, they hired Kubiak. They made some nice hires. They still rank third in cap flexibility, and they have the second most amount of draft capital. And they hold the number one pick, and they brought in Kirk. So I feel like they're set up well to be able to address some of their needs in this draft, and also not rush Mendoza into being a starter. So I think it bodes well for what they've the vision that they've been trying to build over there. So I'm gonna say the Raiders.
Anybody want to add to the Raiders? Anybody want to push back on the Raiders?
I think
Or
they did a good job with the free agency, and they you added high value players to this team, right? You added some veteran presence that can be with this rebuild that you guys are trying to do for at least 2 to 3 years with some of the contracts that they gave out during free agency. I think they addressed some of the concerns still there, but going into this draft with the draft capital that they have, I think if they hit on 50% of their picks and you infuse more talent on the defensive side of the ball, add some more weapons in that wide receiver room, build that up. You still got two solid tight ends in Bowers and Mayer that you have there. Jinty, like he performed pretty well last year for him. To that offensive line. This is a team that's ready to kind of make that leap. It's not going to be this season, clearly, but I do like the future of this Raiders team in the next year or two.
I mean, I have to agree with the Raiders. I mean, I feel like they signed a lot of the guys that a lot of people wanted in free agency. I mean, obviously, like they started with a bunch. I think they had like over 120 million in cap space. So I mean, like they had the money to be able, I mean, for their ability to get the best players that are on the market. Got players on both sides of the ball. That's not on offense, but I mean, like got players on defense. I mean, like I like those players that got on defense as well. Um, and like Dre said, I think they would have been in better position if the Max Crosby trade went through because like now they'd be looking at 2 first-round picks this year and next year. But unfortunately, like like that deal didn't go through. But I still like what they did. I mean, I assume they're going to take a quarterback number one. And then after that, I would assume that they have the ability of going BPA with the moves that they made in free agency instead of having to draft based upon need.
All right. Just to add on, man. So they did bring in Kirk Cousins, Tyler Linderbaum, Quiddy Pay, Quay Walker, Kobe Dean, Jalen Naylor. Uh, I don't even know who this is for the Seahawks, but I think he depth the receiver. Matt Gay and Taron Johnson, and then they re-signed about 5 players that they already had on the roster. I do agree. The Raiders set themselves up, even if whatever happens and Kirk Cousins has to start the season because they want to let the young quarterback, kind of mold himself. They have a lot of things to kind of put around the young quarterback too when he is ready to step into the fold. And if they can go out and just acquire, whatever they like, or some extra pieces on the offense, extra pieces on the defense, I think they could set themselves up. And like Pop said, I ain't saying they going to like the playoffs next season, but they could be setting themselves up for a finish where, they can be happy with the improvement they seen out of the team, in this offseason. Jamie, who's your certified? Did you want to push back on that, or did you agree?
I mean, uh, I'm like 50-50 on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't think that they put themselves in a position to take BPA because that offense is pseudo, bro. They were bottom 5 in everything. They was dead last in rushing. They were dead last in points. The only thing that they was bottom 5 was passing. And what's that? 32, 31, 30, 22, 29. I mean 28 in passing. So they need an influx of talent everywhere. I'll say outside of tight end. Um, they need an influx of talent everywhere, a lot of it. So um, on the defense side of the ball, they was middle of the pack, um, top 16, but it was like a 16 and 15 most of it. So I'm 50-50 on it.
Kubiak is what everybody thought
All right.
Shanahan was. That was the last thing I had to say on their subject. Thank you.
Oh my God, man.
Uh, uh,
J Mick, give me
Stay
give
on
me
script.
somebody who
Yeah.
didn't, bro.
On the
Who
disappoint
didn't
the experts.
who didn't set
Um,
themselves up.
to me, I think the team that didn't really set themselves up for success is the Chargers. Um, I was looking at them in the Broncos. I decided to go with the Chargers. Um, they didn't really make any signings, and from my understanding, the rationale behind that was they were trying to protect their comp formula. That's just what I was, reading about it. I mean, obviously they're set at quarterback. They're pretty set at running back. Um, I mean, they have some good young wide receivers, they have a good tight end. But I mean, what I thought they could have did was they could have improved their like interior offensive line. Um, I mean, because they have bookend tackles. They have Rashawn Slater playing the left tackle, and they have Joe All playing the right tackle, which tackle to tackle combination. I mean, that's probably one of the best in football if Rashawn Slater can stay healthy. But I mean, my issue is their center and their two guards.
Can I
They've
ask you a
only
question
signed.
about that?
Say what?
Well, my fault. You were about to get to it. I was gonna ask you about Biotish because I didn't know if you had forgot about him, but you it sounded
Yeah,
like
I
you were
was.
about to get to him. So my fault.
Yeah, I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say. I mean, they signed Tyler Biotish. Um, I mean, that was cool. But I think my issue with the Chargers was they I think starting free agency they had over like 60 million in cap space. So they had enough money to make a run at Lindenbaum. They really didn't do that. Um, and I mean just to give an example, like the Patriots center, like the Patriots had to trade their center to the Bears, who like the Patriots center was like a top 10 center. And I mean, if you know anything about the Patriots situation, they were going to trade him regardless. So I could have felt like the Chargers could have made that call, and the Bears didn't really give up. I think they gave up a 5th round pick in 27 for our center. So I just feel like they could have made better upgrades at center. I think they also signed Trevor Penning, who I mean I'm not exactly the most high on, and then they signed Cole Strange, I guess from the Dolphins, who we drafted, who I'm not like their center to guard combination to me is not I just don't understand how you would really want to go into the season with that guard to center combination. And I get it, like you can there guards and there's guards and centers in this draft. Um, but I learned the hard way last year that I would not want two guys on the offensive line that are rookies playing next to each other. Like I just don't think like I mean, if you have playoff aspirations and trying to get far in the playoffs, like I don't know how successful you're going to be with having two rookies at the center and guard position that are going to have to play next to each other. Like that could be an issue. Um, Defensively, they lost one of their edges. I believe he signed with the Commanders. I mean, he signed for big money.
When I traded for
Um,
him, that was Owe.
yeah, always. So it's like I think he got like 4 for 100. So honestly, I don't have a big problem with that because like for his production, that was a lot of money. So I mean, if they would have re-signed him, it would have been great for their team. But they chose not to, which I can understand because it was big money. Um, and I believe they re-signed Khalil Mack. And they pretty much brought back their whole defense for the most part. They didn't lose a lot except for that one piece. But I just would have loved to see them do more and I mean fill more needs in free agency. I mean, so that when they get into the draft, like they're not drafting based upon need because like I don't think they have a whole bunch of draft picks, and I think their first rounder is around 2021. Um, I mean, but I do feel like they can draft for guards. They can get two guards in the center, and young players in the draft to back up their like current combination. Um, but I just felt like they could have did more. Like they had the money to do more, but they chose to protect their comp pick. I should say their potential comp picks in 27. Which is not a bad strategy for some teams. I just don't believe it was the right move for this team.
So the Chargers
Absolutely
have
agree.
a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and a 6th round pick. Just for context. Go ahead, Pop.
Yeah, because I think they traded their fifth and seventh or something like that. No, I agree with what you were saying, Jay Mick, because you want to protect your comp picks, but you're not doing anything to protect your quarterback. Like that just does not make sense. I watched what happened with Justin Herbert behind that offensive line last year, and it was not good. And you're telling me you couldn't make a run at any of these free agent guards that were available? You didn't make a run? Okay. So now, guess what? You're going to have to draft for need. And you don't, and like we said, you don't have a lot of draft capital. A lot of Chargers fans actually want them to trade back so they can gain capital within this draft because they understand there's a lot of needs that the team didn't address in free agency. So I don't know. I just don't understand what the Chargers did this offseason.
I think I'm a lot higher on Tyler Biotish than you guys are. I think they have their center. Like I think center is no longer a position of need for them. Um, Guard position, yes, you need some upgrades. Yes, I could see that. But let's say you draft Keelan Rutledge at pick 55 in this draft. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. But at that point, we're still talking about potentially guard four that you're getting, right? But you're still getting them at 55. Like I still think he would be there in that range, and I think you could fill one of your guard needs there. And I mean, I don't know, maybe you get a little bit of something out of Makai Becton or something. I don't know.
I don't think Makai's
Becton
on
not
that
there
team
no more.
anymore. He's not there.
Makai's not. I thought they
No.
re-signed Makai.
They
Nah,
I must have
nah,
just misread that.
back then.
they released him because he was still on the contract. They chose to cut him.
Then
Yeah.
I misread that. That's on me then.
Yeah, that's why for me, their interior guard. Like I agree. I like Biotis. When they signed him, I said, okay, that was a great signing. Address the guard position, left guard, right. Just address that, and they didn't. You, she brought a project in Penning who ain't panned out. Strange. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I think my thing with Biotis is I'm not saying he's the worst center in the league. I just think there were better options that they could have went at. Like they weren't even like from reports that I read, like they weren't even really on Linderbaum like that. Like they weren't on some of the top echelon centers that were out there. Like and like I said, like Tyler, he's not bad, but I feel like you can get a better center. That's the way I feel.
You think there's five centers that have been better consistently over the last 5 years than Tyler Biotis?
I mean, you got to look at the center and what the Chief center to me is the best center in football.
Humphrey,
Uh,
yeah.
And I mean, then you have if you're talking about the last 5 years, then you're talking about Linderbaum. I mean, obviously, trying to think if we're talking about the last 5 years. I don't know. I never considered him to be a top five center. Like that's just I mean, maybe top 10, but not like
So last year, now take this with a grain of salt. This is just to give some context. PFF had him ranked as the 11th out of 40 centers in the NFL last. So I I don't think he's a star to your point. Like he's not Linderbaum, but I do think he's an upgrade, and I think that spot is something they don't need to necessarily worry about in this draft because of it.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
but I think
agree.
this draft is so strong at center that I would definitely draft a center though. And I'm not saying you got to do it in the first or second round, but I would take a guy maybe in the fourth or fifth round.
Well, yeah, but that's you setting yourself
My
up and putting
issue with
yourself
the
in a good
Chargers,
position.
right? My issue
And
with
it,
the Chargers, right, is they went into a draft with a lot of needs and they don't have a lot of picks. They don't have a lot of things that they can address in 5 picks. I don't ever like a team going in that needs a lot of help, that has multiple needs in situations and don't have depth behind it either. So you need to address the depth and the starter with 5 picks.
I mean, my thing is like it's kind of like they didn't learn their lesson on the line last
My
year,
biggest issue.
like because both their tackles got hurt. And so I don't even like the depth behind Slater and Joe Alt. Like they only have Trey, Pickens, and I watch him play. And so it's
They got
like,
Trevor Penning too.
yeah, but I think they're gonna play him at guard though. And then I'm just talking about the tackle position. Like what happened to them at tackle? They got hurt last year and they didn't have anything behind it, which hindered their ability to win play. I mean, they got to the playoffs, I mean, based upon the defense and Justin Herbert. But I also think not only do they need to add guards to the team, but they need to add depth behind Slater and Joe Art. I forgot to mention that. Like they need Pipkins to me not really that great. Like they need a third tackle, like a good swing tackle in case Slater and God forbid Slater gets hurt again because I think he had like that meniscus tear in his knee. So that's tough to come back from. And then like Joe Alt just had like a high ankle sprain that he just kept getting. So but it's just like they are like what Smitty said, like they need depth on that offensive line because like they have expectations. Like people are expecting Justin Herbert in that team to win a playoff game, and I think anything less is not going to be satisfactory for a lot of people. And so I just think you got to build the depth, especially on the offensive line. Since it was hurt last year, build up the depth so in case another guy does go down, you've got a replacement. And I just don't think they've done that in free agency.
So is Trevor Penning expected to start at guard for them now, as of right
Hey,
now?
hey, Jig, are you
As of right
trolling
now,
me?
yeah.
Are you?
You said what?
I mean, on their depth chart, I mean, he's the starting left guard right now. I mean, obviously, we haven't gone through training camp, so I mean, things can change. But as of right now, I'd say yeah.
I don't have an issue. Like, yeah, I mean, if you bring in at least one guard, I think you'll be fine. Every player on your offense line doesn't have to be a star. I think Biotish in the middle with those two tackles. You bring one guard in the draft, a Rutledge or Besantis falls or Pregnon. I don't think he falls. I don't think Besantis falls either, but crazier things have happened. You draft one of those guys in the second round, I think you're fine then at that point.
Yeah, I just think you're taking a gamble. And I mean, you already had a hurt offensive line a year before. I thought you'd have learned from that you want to make sure you build that offensive line up. That was my only point. I mean, because face it, like in that playoff game against the Patriots, like that's one of the sole reasons why they lost that game because Justin Herbert was taking a beating in that, like after the first quarter, like he was getting hit on a lot of plays. It caused a lot of negative plays, and they weren't able to score points. And I mean, that's to me that was a large reason why they lost that playoff game. So I would have just thought that they would have been like, we're going to address
You
our
know, we got
here, and and we're just going to make that better for Justin.
since
Am I
we're
better
speaking
now?
about
Am I
the
still breaking
Chargers.
up?
Nah, you sound better now. But real quick, since we're
Hey,
talking
is
about the
Jigga
Chargers,
trolling me though? Jigga trolling me. He talk about trade AJ to the Chargers so we can get what
that's
safety? I hope you ain't talk about. Hope you ain't talking about drafting no safety and we get Dylan Thieneman. Man, I'm going on mute, man. I'm going. Y'all trying to ruin my Saturday, man.
Oh man.
I mean, maybe he mean McNeil Warren, man. Derwin would look good in
If you don't
green.
know Jigga likes to Jigga, Jigga likes to troll me. So Derwin, I don't even know what they giving me back. They better give up a pick. Derwin and AJ ain't no even swap. I need picks. I still
They're
need
not going to
picks for
trade
that, bro.
Derwin James, man.
Y'all
What?
just wait till I get
They don't
Baby
have
Ed
man.
Reed
I'm
in a
good.
few
I'm
weeks,
good.
man.
Let them have it,
Baby
man.
Ed Rick,
They got it.
bro. Okay, all right, man.
I
All
mean, but that's
right.
your wish list. I mean, that's your wish list. But I don't think
Baby
they
Ed Reed. I'm either gonna get Baby Ed Reed or Baby Brian Urlacher.
Hey, but you know what's funny? I did
I'm
sit in the
pushing
Giants
narratives.
space. I sent y'all that space earlier in the Giants space, and I was in there listening, right? And I didn't hear Caleb Downs once.
Wait, so Dre is
Hey,
on this
look,
agenda by himself?
hold on. Caleb Downs at 5. The narrative is still alive. Until we don't draft Caleb Downs at 5, the narrative is alive.
Maybe you should share that with your own fan base because I don't know. I mean, like not
I
everybody in your
claim
fan
my
base talk about
look,
Caleb Downs.
J-Mick. Look, and this goes for all of my teams, right? I claim my teams. I don't claim my fan base.
Oh, that's true.
That's just
I
that's
do
just not
want to
how it
say
works, man.
this. Another team I think
It's
set
been like
themselves.
that.
Another team I think set themselves up for failure is the Bengals. Because what are we doing?
Oh wow.
What are we doing? You retain that coach still? You're keeping Golden on? All I heard from that fan base was they're not playing the young guys. They're not playing the young guys. You played the young guys. What happened? The secondary did get better, but what's with the D line linebackers? The best part of that team when they closed out the season was the safeties and corners. They performed better. Not all of them, but they did have some pieces that kind of showed up for them. And then you let Trey walk, and to me, you're patchworking it with some of the signings that you did. I think there were better quality players that was on the free agent market that you could have brought in, and you didn't. Your wide receiver had more tackles than your rookie edge rusher. and you did nothing to address that defense, and then you brought in a coach. I think job got saved because he did a Super Bowl run. Because he should have been fired after that year if we want to keep it a buck. But y'all kept him on, and then y'all continue to keep him on. Okay, we'll see how this works now. Because I think Joe Burrow might have to carry the season, but can he stay healthy for a whole full season now? Like he hasn't been able to show that.
Joe Burrow healthy for a full season?
Hey, bro. Hey, bro. Listen,
Oh, that's one of the funniest things I've heard all day. Joe Burrow healthy for a full season. That ain't happening, Pop. We know that. Come on now. Uh-oh.
but
Smitty
first,
don't
bro.
want my thoughts on Hurts. I'll let you live today.
Oh, oh, and it's
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just here.
I mean, at this point,
I'm just here so I don't get fined, man.
oh, good brother, good brother.
I, for one, would
At
like to hear his thoughts on Jalen.
this point, to be honest, Jigga, I don't care. He can have thoughts. He can share his thoughts. And Smitty don't give a damn. Cause you know
I
what?
would love to hear those
My
thoughts.
quarterback ain't gonna respond. So I ain't gonna respond either.
yeah, he gonna give you
I'll
some
respond. Don't worry about it, Jigga.
inspirational
I'll
quotes that don't
respond.
make sense.
I'm right here with you, Jigga. I will respond to you, even if Smitty don't. Go ahead, get that take off. Uh-oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. See, here we go. What does he do well? Throw a nice ball? I
Mm-mm.
mean, you know, what does he do well? He gets carried to championships by other people very, very well. That's something he does very well, Jigga. You know, the Eagles defense carried him to one. Alabama carried him to one, and he almost messed that up. Then Tua had to come in second and 26 and crush J McDreams. You know, I think that's what he does, Jigga. He gets carried well by good football teams. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
All right, so we're going to the next team that set themselves up well for a good draft. Certified, who you got?
I got the Eagles.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'll go. I think the Panthers.
You must be on a little bit of a delay. There's a little bit of a delay
Oh,
here.
all right.
What did the Panthers do to set themselves up well?
There is a delay. There is.
So which one we talking about? The Eagles or the Panthers? I'm confused.
I think certified went first. Certified was first.
No, he
Certified
just
was
said
first. I'll go
Eagles, and
second.
then
I'll
he
go after
muted
Cert.
up.
Yeah, let him go. Let him go. Go ahead. Elaborate, my boy. Elaborate, my good brother, on how we set ourselves up for a good draft.
I mean, you got the best roster in the league. You don't have any glaring needs. You might have some wants, but what's really a need?
Quarterback.
Let's stay on script. Listen,
Um,
the
tackle. Tackle is a need. Maybe not for this upcoming season, but it's something that you would want to address.
that's a want. They
Mm,
they got they got two other they got a tackle that's top 10 on both sides.
yeah, how old is Lane now?
He's still top 10. He Lane Johnson is a top two right tackle in the league.
Yeah, how long is he still going to be in the league?
Okay, but uh, I don't know. But right now, he's at the top.
Yeah, but it goes to this point though. It's not a direct need. Like they might need one like they could draft one later rounds and develop him and then start him next year. That's what he's
Yeah,
trying
I
to say.
know. That so that's where it falls under where I
We
said
took
it's
one
it's a
last year.
it's
We
a
took the
want, not
fact
a
that we
need.
took Cam
That will
out of
fall under that category.
we took Cam out of Texas last year.
Yeah. So what's their need?
My fault.
What do they need right now this season? So, and they got what you said. They got 9 picks. Yeah,
Think
and pretty.
so. Nine
They're
or nine
pretty.
or
Yeah,
10.
I mean,
yeah,
I would
pretty
Hey,
pretty good position.
I would have said they needed a corner, but then they signed Tariq Woolen, so that don't
Yeah,
qualify.
I think they addressed a good portion of their needs in free agency. Um, I think the draft for them is just gonna supplement, like just get younger guys at certain positions, but it's not like they're glaring holes. Like, oh my gosh, you have to draft this player at this position. For them, I don't think it's that.
real quick, Fitch, Eli Manning did take the Giants to a Super Bowl in 2011. Not in 2007, but in 2011, he definitely took the Giants to a Super Bowl. There's your answer, Fitch. Thank you.
Eli took them. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, when we had a bottom five defense in the NFL, yeah,
What year was that?
that was 2011 Super Bowl. We had a bottom five defense in the NFL that year. I think the Patriots did too. You had to ask J-Make, but I'm pretty sure they were right there with us in the dumpster as far as defense.
okay, so it's on me now for the.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah,
think.
explain to me how
Uh,
the Panthers are gonna be
okay, first
successful
off,
this year.
hold on. The
Mm.
Eagles. I got to comment on my team first. My team first because I don't agree with certified. I don't think we set ourselves up for an easy draft. I think we have
Mm.
two very, very, very big glaring needs going into the draft, and it almost possibly force our hands early in the draft. We have a third need, but it's small, but we do need to bring in a tight end, a young tight end to move forward because all of our tight ends are only signed to 1 year deals. Two of them I don't think is going to make the roster. So we technically only have Dallas Goddard, who is a viable tight end. Who is our top edge rusher right now? Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. We don't technically have a edge rusher. We probably gonna end up signing Brandon Graham to his 17th season. Our safety room right now is Marcus Epps, injured Andrew Makuba, and Michael Carter the second, who's converting from nickel to safety. My linebacker room right now consists of Jalen Phillips, Zach Bond, and Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's played a, a calculated of 60 snaps in the NFL in 3 years. I think we have glaring needs, and we didn't really help ourselves, obviously, because of the team that I brought up, the Panthers, outbidding us on the edge rusher we put all our effort into keeping.
Shout out to the Panthers for that.
Yeah, I just looked up some
So
numbers,
I don't
man.
think we set ourselves up for the
That 2011 Giants team might be the worst Super Bowl winning team I've ever seen in my life. These numbers are awful.
You know what's crazy? That's one more Super Bowl than I've seen your team win in my lifetime.
Oh, okay, well, uh, that's
So,
great. All
the
of that to
Panthers,
still
Smitty,
be
what's
behind.
going on with the Panthers?
What a loser.
I think going into this offseason, they had two glaring needs: linebacker and edge rusher. Obviously, I think they overpaid for per set edge rusher and Jalen Phillips. I think they paid him a little bit out of his range. I think he should have been more in the 25-ish range. So I think he got a 5 million annually, more than what he should have. And then they went out and got Devin Lloyd to add to that linebacker room. I think going into this draft, outside of wanting to add a playmaker on the offense, I think to me they did a great job of like just limiting themselves to not having to first round. Hey, we have to get the best defensive player in the draft per se, or we need the best playmaker. They kind of got an option at this point. You know what I mean? I think going out there and grabbing some of those guys and then waiting later into the draft, and then you get Rasheed Walker as the offensive tackle to come in. I think they did some things in this offseason. They didn't have a whole bunch of things they did, but I think what they did was address the needs that they had that were glaring coming out of last season. So I think the Panthers set themselves up, to be able to kind of move how they would like in this draft.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like what they did on defense.
Yeah, I
I
don't really
think
have much disagreement, but who would be the perfect fit for them in the first round then?
Sadiq, and that's no funny. They've been trying to address that tight end position for years. It just not it hasn't worked. You had Trimble over there. They drafted Sanders a couple years ago. They've brought in tight ends. They just haven't worked. And I think if you ask Sadiq, who I think is the consensus best tight end prospect who could be available to them, I think they're drafting at 19. You add that to that offensive side of the ball, give Bryce Young another solid weapon. Hey, I think that's perfect. Just keep building around Bryce Young because I like what they did with Tech. Coker ended up breaking out for them. Leggett, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if he's gonna stay, but they do have other. They had Jimmy Horn Jr. Like so, there's a lot of offensive weapons that they have. But you solidify that tight end position for Bryce Young, and you're cooking.
The quarterback the Texans should have
I think I
drafted.
agree with that, right? If at 19 Sadiq is available, you go Sadiq. But I think if not, right, if you have to supplement, I think Eli Stowers, at that, if he's available at 51, could also be another guy that can solidify that area for you. And he gives you the same type of archetype without the athleticism as a Kenyan Sadiq. You know what I mean? He can block, he can catch the rock. You know what I mean? And he gonna make some plays with the rock in open field. Now he not gonna, what I mean, go deep like, what I mean, pause like Kenyan Sadiq. He gonna, what I mean, bust you across the middle and get a few extra ones, and he might turn a 20-yard gain into 40. But um I think Eli Stowers could still be a steal for them, if they just somehow a team earlier than them was to take him off the board.
Yeah, I
Fish
agree with
wants
Sadiq.
uh Fish wants the Eagles to either draft Danny Dennis Sutton
Do we do?
or trade for Sweat.
He talk about the Eagles.
No,
He talk
that's what
about
I'm
the
saying.
Eagles.
Yeah.
They're going back and forth about the Eagles right now. Fish and I,
Yeah, I
can
think
anybody show me what they see in Danny Sutton? I want to see it.
Danny who?
He's the edge
Danny
rusher.
Dennis
Danny
Sutton.
Dennis Sutton.
Uh,
I mean, I don't think he's a bad prospect, but you're not drafting him to the second, third round though.
yeah. I mean, I think he's a raw product still. Not a first round pick to me.
Yeah, I mean, and put it like this: if your front office drafts Sutton in the first round, then you need to drive up there and you need to ask them a series of questions.
Yeah. I think you could grab him, like Mickey said, like maybe late second round into the third, but
Yeah, I just think he's someone that you add to your edge depth. Like that's just how I view that prospect.
hmm
But as far as the Panthers go, I mean, I
So
thought that
who want who wanna?
Well, wait. Hold on one second. So
Who
as
want
far
to
as the
take their player first?
wait,
Yeah,
I didn't speak on the Panthers,
yeah.
but as far as the Panthers go, I mean, I like what they
Oh,
did because I mean, like they signed they signed a linebacker that I wanted to sign, so I like what they did. And just to add on in the first round, I think they get themselves flexibility because yeah, if Sadiq is there, they could take him, but if Makai Lemon's there, they could take Makai, they could take Jordan Tyson. Like, there's a lot of offensive weapon, players that they could take in the first round if they drop to them that they could take. So
yeah, you're right. You're right, man. I agree. Um, who wanna jump up here first with their player? This
All right, I'm gonna
is
kick it off.
our favorite prospects in the 2020. All right, let's go.
Yeah. So for me, it's Bryce Lance. Um, I like him. I like his size. I like his ability to flip his hips when he makes his cuts. I like his hands. Because that was the one thing I was concerned with him if he was like a body catcher, but he knows how to catch with his hands. He knows how to use his size in the end zone to kind of position himself to make plays.
We having some technical difficulties.
yeah, I think she froze up. Let's give her a second to get back.
Um, I mean, if you want, I can go into my player while we wait for it to come back. Or I mean, we can speak about Bryce Lance a little bit
I mean,
until
we could
she
just comment on
returns.
Bryce Lance. I know we wanted to get some
Yeah.
feedback. Yeah, we can get some feedback on Bryce.
He's a big play FCF receiver with size, explosiveness, and one of the better testing profiles in the class. He brings real vertical and red zone upside. Um, 6'3" and a half, 204. Ran a 4.340, 41.5 inch vertical. Um, 415 shuttle, 7 second, 3 cone. 2025, he had 51 catches for 1,079 yards and 8 touchdowns. He's he's just an efficient guy that has some vertical juice, and he has a good size of speed, a good combination of size and speed. He's an explosive athlete and can stretch the corners down the field, and he's also not a bad blocker, which I like to see receivers that can block because I think it adds some value. Um, Especially if you're a run first football team who likes to pound the ball, you need guys that are willing blockers out there at receiver at times. So I don't mind him.
I have questions about
Um,
Bryce, but you know, level of competition. Um,
I have that
I,
written down. Yeah.
I, I have concerns about him dealing with the physicality at the next level. So, I think that he's talented, but I don't know. I personally would have liked to see him transfer out of North Dakota State and go to another conference to play against better competition.
Yeah, but we've seen guys come from that school now consistently and be able to produce in the NFL, right?
Lyman.
I mean, Antonio Brown went to Central Michigan, and
Well, but
Okay. And we're talking
to
about
your
anomalies.
hold on, you just said lineman though. Wouldn't you
Okay.
say it would be harder for a lineman to adapt to the physicality of the NFL than a receiver?
I mean, I don't.
No, I wouldn't, but
No.
no. I mean, physicality is you gonna have to deal with that regardless. I mean,
But
he's a lineman. That's his thing, strength. You have to be strong to be a lineman.
Yeah, but like
Certified, what are you saying right now? I'm confused.
You gonna tell me what you confused about?
About your statement. Like, what?
What's confusing?
I don't know. Maybe it was just me that was confused. Y'all go ahead.
No, I do. My biggest thing is I don't know how Bryce is going to do against press man coverage. I think he can excel in against zone into zone defenses, against zone defenses. But press man, something I don't. When I was looking at him, I didn't really see him have to deal with. He got a lot of free releases. I also do think he needs to clean up his ability to get off the line. I think he uses way too much movement. His feet be a little choppy at times, and you can get better movement, just reduce the choppiness in his release, and I think he can get cleaner get offs. Um, he
Question
had go ahead.
for you and for certified. Did you guys have the same concern with Christian Watson coming up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I
I'm
also
I'm
think,
asking that.
but for me, I like that's not a big concern for Bryce because I think he's talented enough that he can still perform well. I do think he's a potential high value wide receiver too in this league. Like that's what I think his potential is. Like I don't think it's a bad thing because I think he has so many intangibles that I can work with those little things you have to clean up. I can work with that. And my biggest thing was his hands. I like the way he catches the ball. I like the way he attacks the ball. I like that. I like the way he uses his body between the 20 to the red zone. I like that. So to me, it's not a like I don't think he's not gonna be good. I think he can be really good because all the other things he brings to the table, I think is just valuable.
so what I'll say about Lance is like I think his like his best strength is like his like his contested catching. I mean he's really 50-50 balls. He's like really elite at that. I mean like I also think another strength of his is his long speed. So I mean, and I'm pretty sure like whoever drafts him, I mean, they're going to utilize his long speed and his like 50-50 catch capabilities. Um, my only issue with Lance is like his release package. Like it's kind of what Pop said. Like he doesn't against press man. I'm not sure unless he improves that area of his game if he's going to have trouble getting off the line of scrimmage to me. Um, I mean, but if he can fix that, I mean, he's going to be, like quite a wide receiver in the league. And I guess my only other question for him is like he had two really productive seasons. Um, but I mean, then he also had some seasons before that where he just wasn't really that productive. So it's just kind of the consistency to me. And I feel like he's a good gamble in the draft. Like I think he goes in like the third, fourth round. I think he goes in that area. I mean, just because of what he can do on the field. And like it's just like the rawness that like that he has, like the position he plays. So I definitely see the upside. So I really think it depends on which team he goes to, and I think if he goes into the right scheme and the right situation, I think he can be successful.
You can come on down here, you know.
Real quick, Jigga
I
said
think
Giants been confused like they're bums and yum for years. That is a fact. And he also said if his hairline is messed up as his brother's, asking if Bryce's hairline is like Trey's. And then
I'm
he said
crying.
certified is still having nightmares spending 3 ones on Trey Lance. So
Mhm.
shout out to Jigga in the chat, man. He active in there today.
Mhm.
nah, but
Mhm.
when I was looking at Bryce, man, what I did like what stood off to like was his athleticism. Like okay, I hate bringing up dude, but there's this dude at Oregon who everybody says is uber athletic. He plays in certain position on defense. When I watch the film, I don't see the athleticism of per se guy. When I watch Bryce, I can see the athleticism. I can see the explosiveness in and out of the routes. I can see him being able to come in and be an efficient piece on the team. I don't think he's like everybody said he's probably a gadget guy, two or three. But I think if he can just work on a few parts of his game, um, I think he's gonna be all right. And I think you know what I mean. Somebody gonna fall in love with him, and if they really put the effort in with some good coaching, he could be a steal.
So I, I'll say this. I don't like wide receivers, cornerbacks, or quarterbacks from mid-major programs. I don't. Um, I feel like if you're a cornerback and you're going to North Dakota State, you're going there for a reason. You're not that good. Okay. Same thing with wide receiver. Same thing with quarterback. Now you have your anomalies, of course. You know, you have your Steve Youngs and your Brett Favres. Um, you have your Terrell Owens and your AJ Browns. But or even what school did that what's the dude that just retired? Defensive player of the year, played cornerback for the Patriots.
Oh,
Gilmore.
oh, Gilmore.
Gilmore. Yeah, would then he go to like a D2 or something like that? Where did he go?
I thought it went
He
to.
went to the University of South Carolina.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
Carolina.
That's
okay. Well, I was
SEC country.
okay. Well, I don't know any really good defensive backs that went to mid
Can
majors.
I?
So, or, go ahead.
What about all the prospects that are at Indiana right now? Do you
What
view
about
those
it?
guys the same way, or is it because now they played a year at Indiana, you don't view them the same way? Because all those guys went to a mid major too.
Indiana plays in the Big Ten.
But what I'm saying is those guys were mid
No, their
major
head
guys
coach
like
brought all them guys
D'Angelo
over there.
Pons. Exactly. He brought
Okay.
those guys over there from JMU. Like that,
All
the
right.
core of that team was built at James Madison.
Okay.
So
And
if that team can go to
uh,
Indiana and have that type
yeah.
of success, I don't know. I just don't understand that logic there.
So, well, I'm gonna slow it down for you so you can understand. Okay. So he took them from JMU to a D1 program in the Big Ten, and they played against D1 competition in the Big Ten. So I'm talking about level of competition. I hope
And it's a
did you
bunch of mid-major guys that he took. I'm not stupid certified. You actually got to listen when somebody's saying something to
right?
you.
So he took them to a D1 school in the Big Ten, and they went against competition versus D1 schools in the Big Ten. My whole comment is about level of competition.
But those same, okay, yeah, you got it.
I mean, to me, I just I don't I wouldn't just write off players that don't play at like prominent D1 school. Like like sometimes there's a lot of other reasons that why these kids don't go to these big schools. Like it's because some of them don't have the grades to get in some of these schools, and they're forced to go to these smaller schools. And I mean, so I just think like you're gonna get the thing is you're gonna get talented players that go to these smaller schools. And a good example is like a school like Toledo. Like you're having NFL players come out of Toledo, like that are getting drafted in the first round and that are being pretty successful.
First round all pros too,
Oh,
man. You know.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mm.
So I just wouldn't like so I wouldn't helmet scout just to say that just because you don't go to a school in the SEC, the Big 12, the Big 10, or the ACC that you're not good. I just think there's context behind situations. That's pretty much what I'm saying.
Hey man, if that was the case, then we would have a lot of guys in the league from those schools, but we don't.
I mean, yeah, I mean, like the league is not filled with guys from like Toledo in Miami of Ohio and guys like that. But there are guys that do come from the programs that are very successful in the NFL. Talent. Like I think it's been said a lot. Talent is everywhere. You just got to find it.
So we're talking about Toledo.
Facts.
Just real quick, Smitty, can you tell me where your CB1? What college did he come from?
Toledo.
Is that not a mid major?
Yeah, mid major for sure. He could have. Hey, look, hold on. But look now, he could have went to your school now, Dre. You know
Now
Nick Saban.
I'm not denying that. No,
Nick
obviously
Saban said that
because
was
he
the best
didn't do it.
cornerback in the in the
But
in the in
Smitty,
the portal.
I'm not disagreeing with that. But obviously because he didn't transfer up to the SEC, you shouldn't have taken him serious during the draft process. That's what
But I would
certified
say,
opinion
Dre, I
is.
would say
Uh,
this though. Hold on. Before I say it, Dre, I would
No,
say,
that's
I
not what I
would say,
said.
I would say what happened was him going to Toledo did plummet what he really should have been drafted at. You know what I mean?
You
He
sound
shouldn't have
muffled.
failed. He shouldn't have failed at me in the 20s. After seeing what he did at the Senior Bowl, after seeing what he did at the Combine, after seeing what he did in all those intricate parts where you playing with the same talent of caliber of SEC, Big 10, Big 12, he still popped off the screen. Me and Jay Mick had plenty of conversations about, you know what I mean, Quinion before the draft. And and plenty of people told me in the comments going up into that draft, Quinion wouldn't be available at 20. But I think him going to Toledo did put him in the 20s.
Yeah, but wasn't he
I
the first?
think,
I disagree.
but hold on, because if I'm looking at that drive, wasn't it a bunch of offensive guys that went off the board first,
Yes.
and then you started getting the run on defensive players? So I think context
Yes.
matters when you're looking at it, because if I recall that draft, and it was, I don't know how many players before you got to the first guy. I think it was Latu or something that came off the board. Like,
I,
Well, I mean,
I got it
Quinn,
right here. It was Latu. It was Latu, then it was Byron Murphy, Dallas Turner. Then you had a tackle going to Marius Mims. Then you had
yeah,
Jerry Burstow. Then
yeah,
you
the one
had
I
Troy
would say,
Fatano, Chop Robinson, and then Quinion Mitchell.
well, I mean,
yeah,
So he was the sixth
Quinion,
defensive player drafted in the draft.
but Quinion was the first corner. Like that's the point I was trying to make. Is like Quinion was the first corner taken in that draft.
yep.
So it's not like like it's. I don't think it's an indictment on him going to Toledo. I just think a lot of people in that particular draft viewed other positions higher, and they saw fit to take those positions. And then Quinion just luckily fell to the Eagles at was it 2021, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
think that's all it was.
to your point, J man, the corners that were drafted after Quinion Mitchell, let's just say in the top 50, right? You had Mike Sanders. You had Max Melton, you had Kamari Lassiter, you had Kool-Aid, you had Cooper DeJean, you had Nate Wiggins, and you had Terrion Arnold. All picked in between pick 23 and pick 50. And Quinion Mitchell was the first corner off the board. So obviously there was a need there for corner, and he started the run on the position. They literally started going
Mm-hmm.
after he started going. There's a reason for that. Once the best player starts or goes out of position, there's usually a run at that position.
Yeah, so I mean, like, we didn't got to look in the past. Like, you can look in the draft this year. Like, like they got another Toledo player that's a safety who some people consider to be the second best safety in the draft. It's either 2 or 3 or 4, however you want to slot these safeties. But there is talks of him getting drafted in the first round. So it's like I think the moniker on mid major players, like these kids that go to these mid major schools, like I think it's starting to die a little bit, because if you watch the tape and you see him at the Senior Bowl at the Combine and you see the talent, I think teams are going to draft them. I don't think it's going to deter teams anymore from like drafting kids out of Toledo or I mean Miami of Ohio or North Dakota State or South Dakota State or Wyoming, because over the last couple of years, a lot of them players have been getting drafted, and I'm not talking about day 3, I'm talking about day 1 and day 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we not to be hyper focused on the anomalies, but it's a team in here that did draft somebody else from Toledo. I think who Darius Alexander.
Yeah,
How did he do last year?
Yeah, we drafted him in the third round. There was some flashes there. He didn't have like a overall great season, but yeah, he was a third round pick. He had some flashes.
Sound like somebody start DJing.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, but it's just like, I mean, like, to me, like, I just think you can find a talent anywhere. Like, whether they go to Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Michigan, USC, wherever they go, or they go to Toledo or North Dakota State or Miami of Ohio or like any of these small schools. I think you got to do the work on the prospects at the end of the day. Like, if you see a skill set that you like at a position, no matter, I don't care where they went to school at. I just think they could be successful.
Hey man, shout out to Toledo.
so that was it for Bryce Lance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoever want to jump in with that player next, we can go ahead and move on.
Um,
I'll go. Okay. Yeah, Torian York, 3-year starter in the SEC. He came into school ranked as a 3-star prospect, made an instant impact on campus, and started from day one as a true freshman. Like he's been a starter his whole college career. He isn't the biggest guy, but he has like great instincts, and I just love how he plays the game. His comp to me would be a London Fletcher type player. I could see him being that. Like from the size, they're similar. I don't know if he'll ever have the career of a London Fletcher. That's something we would have to wait and see. But he has what? So he has 74 tackles year one as a true freshman, 8.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. He followed that up with 82 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. Then he followed that up again this past season with 72 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and a pick. And he's a fast like processor. It clicks for him fast. I think he trusts his eyes. He doesn't hesitate much. He fires. Um, the measurables aren't the greatest, and that's probably the biggest knock on him, right? He has shorter arms. He has 30-inch arms. Uh, I mean, he ran a 4.5. That's not great, but I feel like on film he plays faster than his 40 time would lead you to believe. Um, he's a really good player. I don't think he'll ever be like a star for you, but he could end up being a guy you draft day 3 and could be a 8 to 10 year starter for you, but not like a consistent all pro or anything like that. But I do think he brings a lot of value.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that I really like about him is his physicality at the point of the tackle. I really like that. I love physical linebackers. I love linebackers that know how to crack, and I think York is a part of that group. Um, his vision, his ability to go sideline to sideline with his speed is pretty good there. Um, he's like you said, you brought up some of his immeasurables or whatever, but I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I know what you bring to the table, and I surround you with the other guys in that room. You can shine. So I, I do like him as a like fourth, fifth round pick. He can bring value.
Yeah, I think what he lacks in measurables, he makes up for in instincts and actual like play on the field. And I think it's kind of it could be a case of teams just being a little bit cool off of him because of those measurables. I think sometimes you just can't overthink it. It's kind of like with D'Angelo Ponce, right? D'Angelo Ponce, one of the best corners in this draft. You can't overthink his size. You just gotta trust what you're watching. So yeah, Torian York, my guy I've liked now for years. Uh, he grew up in the same area I did, so I've been supporting him for years. And I mean, I would love for us to target him maybe in like in that fourth or fifth round, like you said. So hopefully he's there.
Um, I think Torian York, right? A lot of people are probably overlooking him too. Like they're looking at all like the athletic, the flashy. I think Torian gives me, like you said, that old school feel like linebacker. He's downhill, fill the hole linebacker who can also make some moves out in the flats and make for sure tackles. The one thing I did like when I watched the tape when he get his hands on you, it's not all this shoulder, arm. I'm being uh fancy trying to tackle. He wrap you up, he put you on your back. I did like that he was able to attack the ball. He is that old school. I know it. I know it sounds crazy, but he see ball, get ball, and he knows how to read and react in that moment when the ball is moving back and forth on the sideline. Yeah, he's not 4.3 speed. Yeah, he's not the most athletic, but he makes up for that by reacting on the dime. When he sees a play and he recognizes what's going on, he's there. And he's making the tackle on the play. It's not like you breaking a tackle on him, you making him look crazy. No, I like Torian York for a fourth round pick. Obviously the measurables don't jump off. He's not, this big, big guy with, all this speed and everything, but I think what he does have is exactly what Dre says: his instincts, his ability to read and react, his ability to make the tackle, and if it happens, he can make some plays. So I do like Torian York. I think a team might even, if the linebacker run happens like we believe it will, might have to force their hand a little bit and maybe take him early fourth, late third.
I don't know if a team would go up that far. I don't know, late third. I
I
think
mean,
teams are just gonna be too scared of the measurables. But then again, maybe I don't know because then like I
I
do
mean,
see him being able to fit kind of like a positionless defense in the NFL. Like I think he's a fit for the modern NFL, even though he has kind of an old school play style.
He give me that N'Kobe Dean, Dre.
yeah, but the thing about it is, like, whenever you get into these draft situations, if you ever have a run like, let's say you have a run on linebackers in the third, early in the third round, and you a team sitting at the late end of the third round, and you need a backer. Like, there might be a chance where you can't risk to say, well, he's not really a third round pick. Like, if you have him high on your board, like sometimes you got to just go for the player. Like people might call it a reach, they might give you a bad draft grade, but if the player work out in 2 3 years, you're not gonna care if you reach for that player or not. Now as I go for Torian York, like he's a guy that when I've done a lot of my mock drafts, I draft him in the fourth, fifth round. I'm just a guy that I would love to have on my team. Pretty much, pretty much what's been said. Like he has the ability to process like blocking schemes pretty quickly. I mean, so what I mean. So he can recognize that. I mean, his sideline to sideline range is pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't call it elite, but it's something pretty good for the most part. Um, I mean, and like as far as a run defender, like like he's willing to stick his nose in there, which for a linebacker is something that I gotta have. Um, pretty much everybody else said like his like but his downfall in his like where he gets drafted is pretty much his frame and his size. There's just certain teams that like when you draft certain positions, they're looking for a certain weight, height, and and size. So he doesn't really fit that. But I mean, sometimes I mean like sometimes going through drafts like those are sometimes the guys that really work out, or maybe the guys that might not be the ideal size, but I mean he can still get the job done.
Yeah. So I looked it up. His missed tackle rate for his college career is 10.4%. Um, his highest missed tackle rate was this past season. Actually, had 11 missed tackles. Before that, he only had a total combined 15 missed tackles in the two previous seasons. So, um, that's another thing. Like, of course, you want to see that get better again this upcoming year, right? You want to see him be a little more of a short tackler again, but I like Torian, and I think, yeah, I think he could end up being a steal. I have a lot more on him, but it's too much for right now. Like I'm doing a whole write up. I'll put it out here soon.
All
Hey, I
right.
can go next.
Yes, sir. I got you. Let me pop you. Go ahead.
I, Pop, what? Never mind. Um, so my guy is Isaiah World, massive left tackle out of Oregon. Now I've seen different reports Some got him at 6'6", some got him at 6'8". I'm not sure which one is accurate because he missed the combine and his Oregon Pro Day because he tore his ACL in the Peach Bowl versus Indiana in the second quarter. But he's around 320 pounds, 35-inch arms, which puts him somewhere around the 75 percentile. That's somewhere between average and above average. He's a pretty big dude. Um, he started his college career in 2022 at Nevada. He started at right tackle somewhere in the middle of the season. He switched to left tackle, where he stayed for the next 2 seasons, um, earning him two All Mountain West honors, 2023 and 2024. For people that actually follow PFF, they gave him a 83.2 overall blocking grade in 2024. Um, then he transferred to Oregon in 2025, where he earned second team All Big Ten. So that's a little bit of his bio. Now I'm gonna go into um, my observation of him. I looked up some film on him on YouTube. A lot of it was Oregon. Half of it from Oregon was the Indiana game. So I mostly focus on. I did watch some of the Oregon stuff, but the majority of his film was from Nevada. He's a big dude. He, I really don't. I don't think he has any weaknesses, man. After looking at his film last night and this morning, he has he has great hips. He has amazing balance. He's powerful. He's a bully. He likes to push people around. He stonewalls. His feet are phenomenal. He has the footwork of like a tight end. I think I've seen a lot of guys, even my guy Trent Williams in his old age, locks onto a guy and then he gets flags thrown on him because when the guy tries to move, the upper part of his body's moving, but his legs isn't. Isaiah World, it's like he looked like MC Hammer doing that typewriter dance, man. He's like a big dancing bear. He's powerful. He's strong. He's aggressive. Um, on pin and pulls. Even on doing counters. He comes downhill. He leads with his pads. I think that if he not torn his ACL, he would have been one of the top three tackles coming out of this year's draft. I think he's going to be a steal for anybody that gets him. When he does get clear, I think that depending on what team he goes to, he's going to take the starting left tackle position.
Yeah, I agree. My thing is, I, I want to see. I think he has all the intangibles. I just want to see which team is going to be patient enough to draft him to sit him. And I think that's the concern. Well, it's not a concern, but it's just what team is going to have that patience with him because he did just tear it in January, so he's not going to play this entire season. And I personally would like to take him, but I just think that we don't need a tackle in this draft class. But if you can sit him, develop him more, get better leverage with his pad level, you can have your a franchise left tackle right there. You just gotta have the patience to wait for him to heal.
Yeah, I got in my notes. Same thing, like leverage at times can be an issue. Lateral quickness can be stressed at times, and his recovery versus speed can also be an issue at times. But I do like him a lot as a player, and I do think he has a lot of upside. But because of the injury, I do view him more as a developmental tackle than like a early on impact player. Fun fact: did you know he gave up
Did
11
anybody
sacks
give
as
him a
a
draft? Did anybody? I know y'all looked into him. Did anybody give him a draft comp? Because I have a draft comp for Isaiah World. it's gonna sound a little bit messed up, but I got him comped to Mekhi Becton.
Huh? You
Based
mean
on
Makai's coming out of
Mekhi
college?
Becton as a prospect,
Yeah.
not as an NFL. Yeah,
Okay.
coming out of college, what Mekhi Becton was coming out of college, not what we know, not what we know about him, but coming out. What they believe Mekhi Becton was is like what I think Isaiah World could capitalize on as a prospect coming out. They got kind of the same weaknesses a little bit to me. I think kind of the same measurables. Um, because Mekhi Becton coming out was like 6'7", 6'8", 300 plus pounds. I think they, to me, when I look at the tape of Mekhi coming out and Isaiah coming, before the injury, I think they're comparable. You know what I mean? And I think Mekhi might be able. I mean, I think Isaiah World might be able to capitalize on the upside that Mekhi wasn't able to.
I mean, the thing is, it
He just
sounds like shade, but it's not really shade because Mekhi Becton was a first round pick. So it's not really like looking at it as a prospect. It's a not shade at all. Um, to me, like I agree with what's been said, man. Like if he doesn't tear his ACL, I mean, there's a good chance that he's obviously a much higher draft pick. I mean, like there's a chance that he's a first, or second round, or early second round pick. And my opinion, I mean, like I mean, the kid got good hands. That and I mean, like he's got a good punch. Um, and if you watch his tape, I mean, his tape is pretty good. I mean, like whether you're looking at the Oregon tape or the school that he went to before Oregon, it's like slipped my mind where he went. Um, but I mean, like his pass protection over his time in college has pretty much improved every year, and that's what I look at prospects, no matter what the position is. I want to see how you've improved year to year. And he's pretty much done that. So I mean, like Percy is a team that needs like a right tackle for the future. I mean, this would be a good pick for us later in the draft. Um, I mean, weaknesses obviously towards ACL, so like a lot of teams are going to downgrade him for that. His run blocking to me still needs a little bit of work. Um, and I just think when I say a little bit of work, like I just think he needs to improve his like pad level. And like I think once he's able to keep it under control, like I mean, I feel like the kid can be a really, really, really good player.
All right. I'll go next. My guy for this draft, man, is Cyrus Allen out of Cincinnati. 5'11", 180 pounds. Um, Very explosive guy, man. Last year, he had 51 receptions, 22 total touchdowns for 674 yards, and 13. I mean, that was his career. My bad. His last year, he had the 674 yards and 13 touchdowns, which led the Big 12 in touchdowns. In 2022 and 2023, he was at Louisiana Tech. He led all FBF freshmen with scrimmage yards over 30, which was 10. He ranked second nationally that year, also for yards per catch, and with 22.7. Uh, he didn't play a lot at Texas A&M. He only started 5 games. I was trying to look in to see what happened there, but Cyrus Allen to me is a dangerous receiver. He has a really, really nice in and out. Obviously, the 5'11", 180 isn't a great measurable for him, but his ability to get in and out the cuts, his ability to run the routes, his ability to be a deep threat in an offense. He's shown all those abilities. Uh, I mean, he has really good hands. He doesn't have the blunders. I think he should have got more opportunities at Cincinnati to really put up more yards, but obviously he didn't get those opportunities. And he's explosive in the kick return game. Also, he can get loose out there. In his career, he had over 2,000 yards and over 20 touchdowns. A good team for him. I think getting somewhere like a team we talked about earlier that didn't and set themselves up well, but need some help in the wide receiver room in the Chargers. Picking up Cyrus Allen somewhere in the late rounds, probably with one of their fourth or sixth round pick, depending on how they feel the receiver room is going to fall. I think right now they do have him somewhere in like 150 is ranked according to the top 100. So I think him ending up on the Chargers with the ability to be the deep threat for them could be promising for Cyrus Allen.
Yeah, I like his shiftiness. Um, his speed, very valuable. I think he's a guy that instant impact on the special teams. He is a little small for me, but I think he makes it up with his ability to catch. I do like him as a prospect. He's a guy, like, listen, we don't get a wide receiver in the first 2 rounds. Hey, maybe round 3 we can grab him up. Round 4 we can grab him up. I wouldn't mind that. Just add some speed and talent.
Yeah, for me, Cyrus has a really good release package off the line of scrimmage. Which is going to be good for him when he gets drafted. I mean, whoever gets drafted by, from what I saw from a little bit of tape that I saw, was that he does not mind going over the middle of the field, finding the soft spots in the zone. So I mean that's to me was one of his major strengths. And his other strength to me was his hands. Which I said with the last player, like if you could show me that you've improved over time in college, like that to me is a real selling point to me. And I feel like his hands have, since he's been in college, like his hands has gradually improved. Because I want to say he had a 2% drop rate. I think in 25. I think it was around 2 to 3%. It was somewhere in that area. So he's definitely shown improvement there. Drawbacks for me is just his size. I mean he's 180 pounds. So whenever you have wide receivers that are 180 pounds, like it's going to give teams they're going to ask the durability question. So just kind of fight that off and just prove to teams that he can play all the games and he can stay healthy. I mean he didn't really show that in college, but I mean the problem is once you take a step up, that's what teams are going to put on him in terms of like durability. So
Yeah, I think he's a guy that can win vertically. He tracks the ball well. He threatens leverage, gives the offense big play, explosive ability. Um, he's to me, he's not gonna be a possession receiver. He's not gonna be a chain mover for you. He's literally an explosive, deep threat type of receiver. And honestly, like I don't know if he has the build to be effective long term in the NFL. Like you guys said, he's just really lean, and I mean, when you deal with physicality with that frame, your releases have to be not just good; they got to be elite. You still gotta be able to combat that physicality somehow, and I don't know. I just from what I did watch of him, I didn't come away feeling like that was going to be consistently the case. So I think
Did you
he's a
did you
day
did you
three
get a
guy
chance to
with some
watch
upside.
his one on ones at the Senior Bowl?
Mm,
Did you watch his one on ones at the Senior Bowl, Dre?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really care about one on ones and shorts and t-shirts. Mm, That's not something that I
I just like
like
I
because
like to just
those
watch the
drills
release.
are so. mm, I'd rather go watch the real games and then I don't know. I I think he's a good player. I just like I said, I think he's a day three prospect for sure. That's just some of the negatives that I saw and some of the positives.
Certified. Did you have anything to add, or you want to just move to Jordan Tyson? All right, J Make on you.
All right, so my guy is Jordan Tyson, man. It's a guy that I really love in this draft. He's a 6'2", 200-pound receiver. Um, I'll just highlight some of his stats. I mean, like last year, he kind of had a down year. I would say, like in 25, he had 61 receptions, for about 700 yards and 8 touchdowns. His breakout season was in 24, where he had 75 receptions for 1,100 yards, and 10 touchdowns. In the 24 season, he averaged almost 15 yards per catch. The 25 season, he averaged almost 12 yards per catch. Um, the thing about Jordan, what I really like about Jordan is, I mean, I feel like he's one of the most talented wide receivers in this class. The issue with Jordan is the injuries, and so if you draft Jordan, you're really taking you're kind of taking a risk because you're hoping that he's going to the next level, that he can stay healthy. When I mean, just to be honest with people, like he wasn't healthy, in 24, and well, not say 24, but 25. He wasn't healthy enough to do the combine. I don't even think he was healthy enough to do his own school's pro day. Like I think he had to have his own workouts. Um, so the I mean comps that I seen, like there's like two main comps that I was looking at that he was comp to. He's comp to Amika Abuka and Xavier Hutchinson. So those are the two guys that I've seen him comp to. Um, and I just feel like he's a very like he's one of the most talented wide receivers in this class. What I view his strengths are, he gets open like that. For him, I mean, getting open is not really an issue. I've watched a couple games of his, and he's just constantly been able to get open. His route running to me is very good. Um, and I can't say 100% of the time though. Like like I said, route running is good, but there are times that he does round off his routes, which that's just something that he's going to need to work on. He's going to need to get better at that. But I have the confidence in him that I mean he can fix that. He's a very good contested catcher. I think in 24 he had a contest catch rate of, I think it was like somewhere between 65 to 70%. So I mean he's able to track the ball and he's able to win on 50-50 balls. He's very good at tracking the deep ball as well. He's definitely a vertical receiver. And he makes over the shoulder grabs look pretty natural. Blocking, he's definitely a willing blocker, which is something that I always look for in, I mean, wide receivers. Not saying that you got to be Hines Ward, but I just want you to be, like I just want you to have the will to block. And then as long as you have the will to block and you want to stick your head in there and block as a wide receiver, that's just something that I always look for. Jordan is also pretty flexible in terms of where he can line up on the field. I mean, he can line up on the outside, he can line up on the slot, and you can also put him into motion as well. He can pretty much produce from any, position on the field. And then like he kind of, I kind of view him as a dog. I mean, like when crunch time comes, fourth quarter comes, he wants to make those plays. And I personally want a guy, no matter what position I'm talking about quarterback, wide receiver, defensive players. I want the guys that when it's game winning time, that these guys want to make plays. And the tape that I've seen, Jordan Tyson wants to make plays, and especially in that time of the game. Now drawbacks of Jordan, like I said earlier, like it's his injury history. It's pretty lengthy. Like and he had a knee injury in 22, and he had a collarbone in 24. And he had a hamstring in 25 that's still lingering into the draft process right now. So I mean, if you're going to draft Jordan, you got to get your team doctors on that, and you got to make sure that you're okay with the medicals. And I guess another drawback of him is kind of his frame. I mean, he's 6'2", 200 pounds, so I mean, he's a little bit lean on the frame. So I mean, for me, I would love him over the next couple of years to gain another maybe 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. So, so he's stronger. And the reason I say that is because if he's going against press men, he's going against physical corners. They're going to try to put his hands on him. So I would love for him just to kind of get a little bit more weight on his frame as well. And I mean, I think that's about it. I mean, for me, the team who I hope Jordan Tyson goes to, I'm not being a homer, but like I want him on the Patriots. Like it is like we don't have a X or a 1. And I feel like if you were to, like match him up with Dobbs and Butte and I mean Pop Douglas, like I just think that um I mean he would do great in our scheme. So
Y'all not getting Jordan Tyson at the end of the first round. You might have to trade up or something.
I
You
mean I
keep
never
dreaming if you want to, good brother. I'm just saying,
I
you
never
gonna have to keep dreaming.
I said I hope we get. I didn't say where we was getting them. I said I hope we get.
Uh, hey man, if he didn't have that injury history, Jordan Tyson would be clearly wide receiver one. And I still think that he has a chance to go off the board as wide receiver one. Because that pro day you were alluding to is next Friday, I want to say. The 17th is the pro day. So it'll be fresh on everybody's mind. That's not even a week out from the draft at that point. I think if he comes out there and he looks good, man, I think teams could end up being higher on him than the public and the consensus is right now. Like I feel like everybody thinks he's really good, but everybody's just unsure because of the medicals. But these teams know the medicals, right? They've seen them. We're just speculating because we don't have that information. But if medicals check out and he looks good, running those routes of Friday, I think a team could definitely convince themselves to draft him before taking one of the other receivers. He's an advanced route runner. To me, he's a natural separator. He has strong body control, kind of like a basketball player, and like some at times, like the way he can box out and stuff. Uh, he has reliable hands, and I mean, when healthy, he's shown that he's a wide receiver one. He just hasn't really shown the ability to stay healthy consistently. So that's the biggest knock on him. And by the way, one fun fact: imagine if he doesn't leave Colorado and we get a season of Travis Hunter and Jordan Tyson catching passes from Shador Sanders, and what that could have looked like. Go ahead.
Yeah, because they also had Weaver over there, Jimmy Horn Jr. He could have been a part of all of that. Like, I'll say this offensive weapons Colorado had with him, yeah. But I'll say for me, I don't like the fact that you had major injuries and now you're dealing with soft tissue injuries. That's a big concern for me. I don't like that because once you start getting soft tissue injuries, that starts to linger throughout your career and how available are you going to be for the team going forward. I do think his physicality and those intangibles are there that a team will take that risk. I just don't want it to be my team.
Nah, y'all drafting Carnell
Um,
Tate at 8.
hold on. Am I still on
Hey,
mute?
hey, hey, yeah, free agent. All right, keep playing with me. All right, yeah, all right.
All right. So when I look at Jordan Tyson, all the things that jump off the screen is like his ability to, make the move in the open field. You know what I mean? His ability to really get in and out the routes. But then I look and I'm like 2022 ACL, MCL, PCL, 2024 collarbone, 2025 hamstring. It's like when I look at those like added in together, it's like, okay, yes, you are explosive. You do all these things well. You 6'2", what he said, 200 pounds, J Mitt?
Yep.
It's like I know people are like, well, Smitty is this and Smitty is that, but like Smitty didn't have injury history coming out of Alabama. He was pretty healthy coming out of Alabama, except for the one injury he had to his arm. When he got here, he had to wear the brace. But like Smitty was pretty healthy. Tank Dell, like I think he more of like a Tank Dell to me in this sense. And that's what scares me because the comp to me is like I think he's a little bit bigger than Tank, but he's still got that injury history, man. And I'm scared that I think a team is going to take him top 15. I
That's
do.
real.
But I think it could be like that this is high risk. But if he stays healthy, it's high reward. So I like Jordan Tyson, man. I do agree with Dre. You take the injury history off the table. He's wide receiver one and probably, arguably, a top 5, top 10 pick.
I just want to say, roll tide because you said Smitty. Our spring game is actually about to start in 30 minutes. So some news about that will come out here soon. And I'm going to say Georgia's spring game is coming up here soon, too. Just on a side note.
Um,
Sir, you still there? All right. Well, I don't know what happened to certified. But that's gonna conclude our Saturday show, man. Those are uh teams that set themselves up, teams that didn't. The NFL refs, who's right, who's wrong, who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, and all their abilities. And we think, next week, following up, we're gonna give you some more of these draft picks. Going into the draft, man, I think we're gonna give you as much as we can as far as draft content, keep you up to date. We're not just gonna give you the first round picks though. We're gonna give you the fourth, the fifth, the third, the sixth, second, seventh. We're gonna give you the whole roundabout. And sometimes we will give you a first round pick just to keep you entertained with the people that you know some things about, but you might want to know more. So stay tapped in with the check down, man, week in and week out. Pop, take us to the crib.
all right, for sure. Always remember to follow the YouTube page, follow the Check Down Twitter page, join the Check Down Twitter community. Always remember to tell a friend and tell a friend. We'll tap in with y'all next Saturday at 11:15 Eastern Standard Time.
Check. Check down. Check down. This a check down. We give it to you straight. This a check down. We really watch the tape. This a check down. We give it to you straight. This a check down. We really watch the tape. From the street to the game, we bring that flow. Analyze every move, feel the knowledge grow. In the lights of the city, where champions are made. 2 men to the moments in the praise kick out.